Hi, this video is on solving simultaneous equations. We're going to be using simple equations that you're likely to see in the assessment. So these ones are all in the form of y equals x plus or minus something. If your equation is not in this form, rearrange it so that it is y equals. Now what you'll notice is that for our first one, y equals x plus 4. And y also equals 10 minus x. So what that means is we can join these equations together because they both equal the same thing, they both equal y. So for this one, we can write x plus 4 equals 10 minus x. And to solve that, we want to get all of the x's on the left-hand side and all the numbers on the right-hand side. So the first thing we do is we subtract 4 from both sides, which gives us x equals 6 minus x. The next thing we want to do is we want to add x to both sides. The reason for that is we've got a negative x here and we want to, we don't want it on this side. So if we add x, that will cancel out, and that gives us 2x equals 6. If we divide both sides by 2, that will give us x on its own. So for this one, x equals 3. Once we've solved for x, we substitute that into one of the other equations to find what y is. So y equals x plus 4. So instead of the x, we're going to write 3. So y equals 3 plus 4. So that means y equals 7. So the solution for this is x equals 3, y equals 7, or we can say that it intersects at the point 3, 7. Our next example, y equals x minus 7, y equals 3x minus 13. So the same thing here, we take our two equations and we set them to equal each other because they both equal y. That means they both equal the same value. So x minus 7 equals 3x minus 13. Okay, so we want to get all of the x's on one side of the equation and all of the numbers on the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to get rid of this x, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. Okay, which leaves me with negative 7 equals 2x minus 13. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 13 to both sides. Okay, to get rid of this 13, I have to add it to both sides. So that gives me 6 equals 2x. When I divide both sides by 2 to get x on its own, whoops, that changed colour. That leaves me with x equaling 3. So once again, I can substitute that into one of the equations. Just pick the easiest equation. You get the same answer regardless of which one you do. So I'm going to pick the first one. So y equals x minus 7. So y equals 3 minus 7. So therefore, y equals negative 4. So these two equations, they intersect at the point 3 and negative 4. For our final example, y equals x plus 2, y equals 2x minus 14. So we can set these equations to each other. They both equal y, they both equal the same thing. So 2x minus 14 equals x plus 2. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this negative 14. I don't want it on this side, I only want x's. So I'm going to add 14 to both sides. So that gives me 2x equals x plus 16. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract x from both sides because I don't want the x on this side, I only want it on the left side. So if I subtract x from both sides, that leaves me with x equals 16. Okay, So now I can substitute x equals 16 into one of the other equations to find what y equals. So if I use y equals x plus 2, being the easier of the two equations, so y equals 16 plus 16 plus 2, so therefore y equals 18. So these two equations, they intersect at the point of x equals 16, y equals 18. Thank you.